Most people these days wouldn't think that in Canada that you have systemic racism. Point of it is that they don't see it, and they look at their everyday life, and basically they don't have to walk in our shoe to know what's going on out there. Don't get me wrong, Canadian people are very nice, yes, but you have those that have their whole ideology and concept that we as a black race, it's not a matter that we don't exist, it's that we are more like animals. They look at you and figure, okay, fine, you're from this part of the country, you're from Africa, or you're from Jamaica, or any part of the Caribbean, you're pretty much animals. If we look back at ourselves and think about it, sometimes we allow people to think that way. And because of all the cruelty we as human beings do inflict on each other, the cruelty we continue to do to each other, but that still doesn't take away from. I got here in basically Canada in 1986, and when I look back, everything seems fine. I really enjoyed it. I actually came up in winter, close to winter, and everything was different. Yes, most of the class, or basically most of the school, were predominantly white, yes, and then you have, I came up from Jamaica, and people said I have to go back and take English as a second language, which was funny because, yes, so even although we have the patois, but we still speak English. Anyhow, I remember I was downtown Toronto taking the train because I was going to work in, I'm gonna say 89, and probably around 4 o'clock, trying to grab another train, a young employer there, and a lady comes staggering up to me, and she keep on calling me the N-word, and because of you, why my son don't have a job, and you are here to take our jobs, and the N-word just kept going. I felt so small, I felt so tiny at that moment, and she kept staggering up to me because she was drunk. Most of the time when people are drunk, that's when they give you their true personality. And she come right up in front of me, and out of nowhere, this little old lady came between us. She had on a nun's uniform. I don't know where she came from. And she threw her arms around me and she said, "Son, don't pay her no mind. Just look away from her." And I was crying because I never done anybody anything, and I never expected something like that to ever happen. And she said, "Son, I know your heart and I know where you are at." She said, "Don't even think it, just let her be." I can't say I was thinking of doing anything, but I was so embarrassed because it's in 4 o'clock, it's crowded, and out of nowhere, this woman just picked me and decided to yell the most disgusting things ever. And the old lady, she told me, she said, "Look at me, son." And I said, "Mommy," I said, "you really don't understand." I said, "I've never gone through anything like this." And she led me onto the train because you're taking this train, and I said yes. And I got on the train and I turned around and she was gone. It was one of those things that I never thought would ever happen to me. it bothered me for the longest while, and I think I allowed that to fester inside of me because I couldn't believe that there was so much hate in people, and it didn't matter what you do, you're still gonna go through it. I remember we were in high school, and I remember I had a friend that we basically was having a discussion in class. It was an open discussion in class, and it was so funny. He was praising Will about everything. He talked about anything, and he was talking about racism. And then he said, to the class, "Why is it that if I walk into a store, it's like I have the whole store basically follows behind me, but yet when you guys walk in the store, you guys are the ones that are stealing the stuff. Nobody follows you." And I said to him, I had to touch him and said to him, "You know something? You need to shut up, Papi. Because guess what? There's only the 12 of us in this classroom. There's 15 other students. There's the only thing we have is basically the back of the window to jump up." But anyhow, we took it lighthearted and we talked about it because it was open this English class, open discussion. And it doesn't stop. Everywhere you go, people think the worst of you or look at you differently. People more think of you as an animal, as a monkey, or some. It's like I'm trying to figure we're the same human being. We basically bleed blood. We bleed red blood just like everybody else, but y'all don't think it that way. I remember sitting down and at a friend's house, and the little dog basically kept on looking at me, and then he jumped up into my lap and just twirled around and lay down. And okay, I love animals. You can hear my birds in the background there, and I have cats, a guinea pig, and it's like the lady came out and she looked at me, and she looked at her and she started smiling. She said, "Oh, look at him, he's so cute in your lap. You both look, you both look the same." I'm trying to figure out when their right mind would basically think something like that. But a person, a dog, because the dog is black, meaning that we both look the same. It's sad. I've gone through wherein I was doing security in say 2000 and yeah 2000 2002, and I was somewhere out in Mississauga, a Mavis area there, and people always tell me one thing you have to realize is never get pulled over out in Mavis because the cops. Yeah, anyhow, we basically patrol and check on buildings for customers that are clients that make sure that. And after I check the building and I walk out to the parking lot, there's this guy trying to put his keys into his door, and he was shaking trying to get his keys into his doors and into the car door. And I said, "You need help?" He said, "No, he was drunk. He had a glass of rum because he had just finished from a party." And I got on the phone and I basically called 911 because he's the last person you would want to basically go driving on the street. He can't even get his key in his door. I said, "What are you doing? What are you doing?" And it's like, "Glad." He said, "Nothing, just calling your cab." He said, "You're calling the cops on me." And he punched after me. I didn't expect it. And then the officer got on the phone and I explained. He said, "You're calling the cops on me. I'm gonna shoot you and your whole family. I'm gonna kill you all." And it's like, anyhow, he kept on coming to me and punching after me, and I kept walking away and trying to wait for the cops. The operator said, the dispatcher said, "Oh, they're on their way." And I heard the sirens and everything coming, and I walked out to the road. And when I walk out to the road, it was so funny that I waved down the street because they were all parked up, cars parked up, because they didn't exactly know where I was. And they come flying up the street. And I had on a black jacket, and I had on a big yellow security sign on my back, sign on my shoulder, and everything. And they came speeding up the street, got out of their car, and rushing towards me. And I said, "Guy back there, he's drunk." And they basically, "Get down, get down." It's like, I'm talking to the dispatcher and get down, and it's like, you're kidding me. And I forgot, so I'm talking to the dispatcher, is explaining to them, this is a gentleman that's calling, and they still didn't take that for nothing. And could have let the dog go. And it's like, I know dog, I hate the fact of thinking of myself getting bit. So, and all of a sudden, you hear the big shotgun, and it's like, I lay down, they came and started throwing me in handcuffs. And then all of a sudden, the guy, he come rushing across the parking lot, and I had my head turned towards where it was. And he tried to kick me in the face and tripped over the cops, them and everything. And I'm thinking to myself, how is it that I call the cops? I explained to them that this lad was a white guy and I'm the security. I turned my back, showed them that I was security, that I'm the one that's talking to them. They didn't care about that. They didn't give two flying flute about that. And it's just sad that even when it's pretty much after the guy tried to kick me and fell, that's when they basically grabbed him. They cuffed me, put me in the car. Oh, we didn't know what was going on. I said, I'm explaining to you. I said, I show you security on the back. How is it that you didn't understand that? But I don't know. I still ponder myself, and I said, thank God I didn't get killed that night, because a man cock off his gun and the dogs were there. Every cops had their guns drawn. Only God saved me that night. That's the only thing that I can think about. And Canada is always, it's a beautiful country to come to, but one thing I understand is that Canada, sometimes people will basically, they be nice to you and talk to you, but behind everything, it's a totally different scenario. At a workplace, and I remember the lad that was there, and that lad was basically cleaning the gutter, and we were up to our elbows in slop, and it was stench beyond. Anyhow, we took a break because the thing that was in the ground was hard to come out. We took a break, and I went to throw out some garbage, and it's me and another white lad that was there. And when he went to talk with the other guys, and I went to throw garbage, and all of a sudden, an older lad that I respected, old Caucasian lad, he looked at him and said, why are you doing a nigger's job? I was in the back, they couldn't see me because there's a fence, and then there's basically slabs of board basically put against the gate, and he didn't see me. And I'm trying to think to myself, you shit me. And all of a sudden they said to him, oh, Julian is back there, Julian is back there. And then he got up and he looked and he saw me. He was red as there's no tomorrow. And I walked back into the store, and he come walking up to me, hey Julian, I'm sorry you heard something. He said, don't think I'm like that, man, I'm not like that. My best friends are black, he comes over every day for we basically do barbecue, and I'm thinking, yeah, don't worry about it. It bugged me because this was somebody who's an elder lad, and to think that people think that way because we're cleaning the gutter, we were cleaning the gutter, and I guess because it's stench and dirty and everything, and you look at them and say, why are you helping me? That's an end job. Are you kidding me? And it doesn't stop. It's like, I remember when my dad, we were basically, my mom, we basically were going to Montreal, and we stopped in Quebec because we got lost, and always can't ask for direction, or yeah, anyhow, we stopped at a restaurant and got out to use the phone, and we opened the door, and before we opened the door, it's like, as soon as you could hear all the knives and people chatting away and everything, and as soon as we opened the door, if you drop a pin, you could hear it. I said, if you drop a pin, you could hear it. The place went total silence. You're trying to figure out why. And tell my dad to make the phone call, and there was a little jukebox right at the side there, and I threw in a quarter, and I played Bob Marley. I put on a Bob Marley song. I'm sorry, I had to. Then I got tired. We see we face. What's that Bob Marley? But anyhow, it was just funny, and we left. And it's like as soon as we close back the door, then people start talking and trying to figure out, wow, okay, let's get out of here. I've traveled so many different places. I've traveled to US and I've traveled to Canada, but Canada is different because they will talk to you and all friends and everything, but behind closed doors, you're not their friends. Some, not all. I'm gonna say you have okay 10, 15, 20% or like that. You have the others that still open have an open heart and open arms for you. But still you still gotta be wary. It's like I'm down in Newfoundland now, and it's like it's sad that I'm on the street when I was taking this to the bus, and it's like people driving past me, calling me the N word, and go home, stuff like that. It's sad. It doesn't stop. I'm at work and people talking, and customer and your co-worker talking, and they looking at you, and they not they laugh, and then you disappear. I remember once I basically went down to do something, and but I was underneath the vehicle, and out of nowhere here the customer and one of my lad that I'm working with, and they start talking about all these ends they coming here to take our jobs, and trying to figure out, does this ever stop? 1986, we're in 2000, and it not stopping. 2016, 2017, same crap. I wouldn't allow him to work in my kitchen. I wouldn't allow him to clean my dog kennel. Oh, actually, we make him clean our dog kennel. Customers basically look and say, oh, I swear at them. Of course, I don't curse. I look at it and say, something. God taught us something that, you don't have to, most of the time, it's not even God teach you, it's just that you don't have to swear to get a point across. But I wish people would stop thinking that Canada is not systemic racism is still going on here. It is. Stockwell Day said the other day, oh, there's no systemic racism. Yes, there is. He's trying to say that, oh, his friends, and when I heard he start talking about my friends, and it's like, I was trying to figure out, please don't say, oh, my friends are black. No, that crap don't fall, man. All the time they said my friends are black. They only basically back then you only talk about my friends are black for the reason that okay, fine, you can think you can get weed off of them or whatever, but now it's pretty much all over the place, so it doesn't really matter. But it has to stop. Man get killed and people talking about because he had a virus, and that's the reason why he should have been off the street. Killing us for what? It has to stop. We've come too far, 400 years, and we're still at the same place. Don't get me wrong, Newfoundland is a beautiful province. People are beautiful. It's like, it's just that you have a few that are ignorant. And the few that are ignorant outweighs because I leave and come home and I'm bothered. I'm hurt. People posting about George Floyd, he didn't deserve to live and stuff like that. Why? The man had kids. The man is a human being. And you're still thinking like that. We all deserve to live, whether white, black, Hispanic. It doesn't matter what you are, Indian. It doesn't matter who you are. We're all human beings. For once in your life, think of us as human beings. If all of a sudden anyone need blood, they're not looking at trying to figure out where did the blood come from. They're looking at whether or not it's A positive, A negative, or B, whatever it is. Doesn't matter where it came from. So please, for once in your life, give it a rest, man. Give it a rest.